This is what I was talking about, how divine this outfit looks in the books. Don't you see it?
Okay, but like, can you possibly imagine anyone not looking divine in this? You have a shot of you in the library that was like your profile picture for eternity.
Yes.
That's just you sitting, reclining on these books like you're the queen of the library, and you look adorable. It is hard not to look cute in the library.
Pro tip.
Yeah.
Want to take good pictures? Go to library.
Go to the library.
I'm excited.
I can't believe we're doing the thing.
Oh, sorry,
girl.
I can't believe we're doing the thing either.
Are you gonna pull a Jodie Clark and like just talk about how awkward the intro is and then have that be your intro?
I think I did that for the ENTP one.
That's funny.
Yeah. Hey, I'm here with Katie.
Hi.
INFJ. She planned my day. If you haven't seen that video, Katie planned my day as an INFJ, and now she's going to watch it for the first time. And it's been over a year since that day happened.
It's been a minute.
So, do you even remember?
No, you opened up the computer and I went, oh, that's me.
False heroines collide. Look at that.
It took me like 3 minutes.
You found it.
I found it. Well, turns out that's
This
not
is the
happening.
cutest.
Okay, we can fix that.
Yeah.
That's rude.
In the extra. I was a librarian though for 3 summers.
Oh yes, I forgot.
Right. Categorizing libraries is very important.
So that might just be a Katie thing.
It might just be. Yeah.
The notice of a lack of love.
Yeah, right there. Oh gosh. There's me with my 6 books.
Okay. Did you finish all of those 6 books?
Okay, I definitely finished those 3. I can read the titles. Those are by one of my favorite authors. They're delightful. Yep, I read that one, Spy Mistress, and then, oh, that's a DVD, Table 19. I still haven't seen that. And then, so I read all the books, but did not manage to watch the one movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very INFJ.
Is it? Is that not?
At least
that's
it's
not
like
just
also
me?
my mom.
Okay.
Would manage to read all the books, but not watch the movie.
Right, because you have to sit for 2,
2 hours?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to finish 3 books?
Many hours. But I didn't have to sit and stare at a screen for that. And like not use my imagination.
True. Sometimes I get so distracted because like if I read, I'll read the same page over and over and over again, just creating different possibilities of how it could go in my head.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm never gonna finish this book.
Is that an anything or is that a writer thing?
I have no idea.
Are the two the same?
I have no idea. Sometimes I think it might be a writer thing because I do sometimes enjoy the prose of it so much that I'm just like, oh, it's delicious, and you just really have to sit. It might be an FI thing too. You just really gotta sit in that. For a while.
Right.
It's hard to move on.
Yes.
I don't know.
Are you talking about Zac Efron?
Yeah. I remember that.
He'd rather act, which makes me sad, because Zac Efron having a pop album would be my life.
Yeah.
I hope the other INFJs that watch this don't argue with me because I feel like they're gonna go, no, I'm always very careful about cleaning up my dishes before I go sit down. And I feel like I'm very careful about thinking about cleaning up my dishes. Like I always have that intention.
So I have a message from my mother concerning that.
Oh, do you really?
Yes, my
Because
mom
she's an
is
INFJ, right?
She says, Katie is so INFJ. Let her know I totally get the dishes thing. It usually bugs me though until I take care of it. But extremely proud of myself when I can let them be, pretend to not care, then eventually really not care.
Yeah.
If you are an INFJ, how do you feel about dishes? Do you get them done right away? Do you let them sit for a bit?
Right.
Do you try to let yourself let them sit for a bit?
That's true. It's true. You can breathe it in, use it as like a letting go of control kind of exercise.
Yeah.
People need that.
Yes, we are now officially telling people to not wash their dishes. I love this.
Yeah. Don't
do
wash your dishes.
Just go take pictures in libraries instead.
No one asks you questions. I'm very sorry no one asks you questions. Let me ask you a question, INFJs.
Do people not ask you questions very often? I get that from almost all of my INFJ friends.
Okay, so here's what I will say is that I've gone through phases in my life. When I was, and we've had the conversation before about we don't know if I was an INFJ when I was younger.
I've heard that from a lot of INFJs too.
Really?
That they maybe thought they were INFP when they were a kid.
So I've definitely had that thought.
Yeah.
But I also was a nonstop chatterbox as a kid. Like I would not stop talking. And this was up through high school and just wouldn't like. People would have to go, Katie, hey. And I'd, oh, what now? And so it was interesting as I got older to learn how to regulate that and then kind of step back to the point that for a while, I guess I did kind of feel like people didn't ask me things and I didn't feel like I could put myself out there. And now I've just become bossy enough that I decide I'm going to give them the answers to the things I think they need to know.
Yes, that's what I told them. The people, the INFJs, I'm sure some of them were watching, the INFJs in my life that would say stuff like, oh, no one really asks us questions, so no one really knows anything about us. And I'm like, I volunteer stuff. I just say stuff that nobody really asks for, and then sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's unhelpful, but...
Well, and honestly, like, one of the things that I realized maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, was that people were feeling a lack of connection to me because I wasn't sharing about myself.
Yeah.
And so, like, I would get... I had a lot of friendships that they weren't one-sided, but they were in such a way that, like... Typically, I was the one giving and they were the one receiving.
So I have a lot of empathy for INFJs when it comes to this because I've seen it a lot with like people who are close to me that are INFJs.
Right.
Where they do feel like they're giving so much. Mm-hmm. Especially when it comes to like emotional capacity. They're just like... Because y'all, in a way, like to take on... Like, y'all take on people's emotions, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I have... Me personally, and this is probably somewhat to an unhealthy level, I very much find it hard to know my own mind and know what I'm thinking when I'm around other people. Yeah. Because I just like it is not even a conscious decision that I automatically want whatever they want. Which is, again, a little unhealthy and probably not necessarily the norm for every INFJ.
I've heard it a lot.
Oh, or maybe it is. But yeah, that also is part of the speaking out my, like, being able to say, hey, I feel this way. Or also being able to say, hey, I honestly don't know what I feel, except that I think I'm hungry right now, so whatever decision we make, I need us to make it in 5 minutes.
Yes.
Like, and being okay with not knowing the whole, right. This is exactly what I want right now. Right. And still being able to just express whatever the thing is.
Because I think sometimes, I know I'm a projector. So I wonder if sometimes INFJs, like, and this is just me, like, thinking. Yeah. Wonder if INFJs assume that other people reach out the same way they do. And so when they don't see that coming back to them, right, they maybe think that, like, no one is caring or no one is doing the work of the friendship or the relationship or whatever's going on. And I think INFJs realizing that maybe not everyone reaches out in the same ways, and to also some people don't really know what to do. I know that's for me. I like don't know what to do. And so communicating, if it's someone that's like really close to you, like, hey, like you even did that with me. You're like, hey, I've noticed this thing where I don't share a lot and I really want to get better at that. So if there's any way that you can give me opportunities to talk about myself more, or, you know, and I was like, okay, like whatever, you know, like I think that that's such a cool thing when INFJs know what they need and are able to express it and are able to receive as much as they give, because they give so much of themselves all the time.
I mean, I feel like we don't give that much of ourselves all the time.
You give so much of yourselves all the time.
I feel like the INFJ, the hump is like, I've got to be able to be okay with both sides of communicating, not just the one side. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure their INFJs are like, what? Dishes? Oh, I meant to.
I hope so. I hope it's not just me.
I just got so lost in thinking about the political climate.
Right? Oh, girl. For eons I could talk about the political climate.
That's it.
I love it.
Yay.
I'm real happy that I got to help be a part of it and like make your day and stuff.
I love that you were a part of it. It was so fun.
We just are delightful.
Yeah.
Aren't we just delightful?
We're just delightful.
We're just delightful.
Kindred spirits. So something I learned that INFJs and INFPs do have pretty similar days, but I feel like the INFJ day felt more intentional. And I don't think it's just because you actually planned it for me. I think that INFJ days, even like when I watch my INFJ friends go through life, do seem more like intentional. So it's kind of funny because too, like at this point I'd already done the ENTP day, and so I was kind of like comparing them a little bit. Yeah. What I got from the ENTP day was that it was very balanced. They would do one thing that was in their head, and then one thing that was out of their head, and another thing that was in their head, and then out of their head. So it was kind of like this very balanced day.
Back and forth.
Yes. And comparing that with the INFJ day, it was very much all in my head. I felt like a lot of it was very much in the head.
Yeah. That's very true. That's something I struggle with a lot. As you know, I'm a teacher. And so like the hardest part of being in the classroom for me is trying to make sure that I'm out of my head enough that I'm giving my kids everything they need.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy for me to get wrapped up in the one thing that I'm focusing on, which can be super fun. Like I can get lost in a library for days.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
If they didn't kick me out, it could happen. But on the other hand, yeah, you have to be as intentional as you can. And actually, you know, I've started dancing recently, and so that helps me.
Yes.
Get
playing
out
with
of
your
my head.
extrovert sensing.
Right. Yeah, girl. That's my fourth function. And so it's a lot of, I just get to have fun with that one.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot.
That's so cool. And you can see how things changed in a year.
Yeah, actually, it's really funny to look back and be like, oh, I did my makeup different then. And like, oh, I remember when I had those earrings, I've lost one of those.
Yeah. If we did the day-to-day, I might have had to go ballroom dancing.
It's swing dancing, and you would be amazing
swing
at
dancing. No.
You can count. You can count. Yes.
It's taken me a while to finish this math video. So I think it's interesting that you said the word focusing, because I tried to come up with like a word for the day that I felt like, and when the word for the ENTP was balanced, the word for the INFJ I came up with was focus. Because I said like our days seem similar.
Yeah.
But the difference in the days, I think, is that you guys, well, I don't know, from the perspective of if we're grouping you as all INFJs, have a lot more patience than I would have.
Yeah.
Because I think some of the activities I would just be like, are we done? Are we moving on? Are we done? So y'all can sit in things a lot longer, I think, than I can. Like I'm always just kind of ready to go to the next thing, which is interesting because I don't know if I've always been like that. So I don't really know if it's an INFP thing or just a little bit of unrest.
Well, and you are the queen of teaching me how to sit and stuff. Like I'm not the one that knows how to. So it's funny.
So interesting. Yeah.
Because like emotionally, I am not good at sitting in it. It's like, are we done yet?
Yeah.
Are we done?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a reversal of functions, like an extrovert introvert thing again. Is that maybe FE versus FI? That probably is exactly what that is.
Yeah, like if I ever get into a mode. So like with ENTP and reflecting, I was making fun of her because I was like, what are we reflecting about? But if I had something to reflect about, I could reflect all day. But that particular day, I didn't have anything to reflect about.
You're
so
like,
what am I doing?
I don't know. Right.
So.
Well, and that holds with the FI, like you have to be very true to yourself too. Like you have to work with the thing that you are currently in the middle of. You can't force yourself into a mode that isn't genuine to what you're currently experiencing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Have you thought about what the INFP word would be? Like if you were to have an INFP day, obviously all of them are, but...
No. I'm not. So what did you learn watching someone else try and live your day?
Yeah, so I feel like it makes me notice the things that I care about the most. Obviously, food is one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Like, food is very intentional. And food is a gathering place, too. Like, community to go along with it. And things that bring me joy, which for sure are books.
Yeah.
Being out of the house isn't necessarily something I always have to do, but at the same time, I like to find like those spaces that are out of the house, but not necessarily the most social in the world. And so it was funny to see that that was a thing that was going on.
Yeah.
And then come home and make my house and my brain as intentional as focused as my day is, if I can. And honestly, you're right. Like it seemed like a very natural flow for you. And so I'm not at all surprised to hear you say that the two were very similar.
Is there anything else that you want to share or talk about in regards to the day you planned or INFJs or whatever?
If you're an INFJ and you're watching this video, then I would tell you that I like you. You are more of a figure for movement to the people around you than you realize. Like you create more change and more ripples in the world around you than you know about. And you are powerful to enact that change in your own life and in the lives of the people around you. And so on the days when you don't feel that way or when you feel like the world is kind of hard, you can remind yourself that you really are making a difference.
I love that. That's so good. Thanks so much for joining us. Go on from wherever you are.
Yay!
That wasn't too painful.
That was great!
Yay!
Oh my goodness! Holy moly!
We did the thing!
We did the thing!